Today as a guest we have with us Elder Patrice Palmer from the Higher Ground Always About an Assembly and the Director of Agent for Change.
How you doing?
Very wonderful. So Patrice, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I come from a dysfunctional background, not necessarily family-wise, but the choices that I made in my life. They weren't always the best choice, and a lot of them led me to have to face consequences that harm those around me that I love, my children, my family. 20 years caught up in the criminal justice system, addiction to drugs, alcohol, domestic violence, abuse, and through those things, I was incarcerated, 4 penitentiary numbers. I'm not proud of that, but it's a part of who I am. And I had a judge say to me, "You'll never be anything but a number in the system." And as those words spoke death and were crippling for me, they became life and the catalyst that made me realize that it was time for a change for my life.
So as you talk about change for your life, tell us about that process. How did you go from being dysfunctional, drug addicted, criminal activity, to now you are successful, a master's degree student from the Ohio State University? Tell us about a little bit about that process.
From my last incarceration, I knew that something had to change. My brother was my biggest cheerleader, if you would say. And his words to me was, "I'm not coming anymore.
Wow.
I'm not sending any more money. I'm not taking any more collect calls. Your children, while they're excited to come see you, they're tore up when we leave.
Oh, wow.
And we're the ones that have to deal with that." So for me, my cry to God was to help me, because I can't help myself. And it was through that cry that God birthed in me, if you will, the process of change.
Wow.
And it was about going to a program, surrendering to the process of change, and understanding that this is not my purpose or what I was made for. And so I went to school, got an education. I have over 13 years of sobriety. And I began to become the change that I wanted to see. The College of Social Work, that was one of our mottos or mantra, if you will. And I wanted to become that. I wanted people to know you can have made bad choices in your life, bad decisions, caught up in the criminal justice system on drugs, alcohol, whatever. But if you surrender to the process, you can change your life. And so I had to become that change. I've been in school for 9 years, but I have 3 college degrees, 2 from the Ohio State University. I have a chemical dependency certification through the state of Ohio. An ordained elder at Higher Ground. It's always about knowing that where I am right now is not where I'm going to be. And it's about putting forth the effort, because it takes time. A process is a time. And I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I had people in my life.
I'm sure you had times when you felt like it, though.
Oh, all the time. Even now. But there were always people in my life that were encouraging. And even when I didn't have it, I had to encourage myself. I had to look at where I had been and where I was today. They said I wasn't going to get there, so I can keep on going. And it was about really picking up the pieces of my life. It was really about sticking to it, because one of the things my eldest son said to me is, "You owe too many people to fail.
Wow.
You owe God first. You owe yourself. You owe your family. You can't quit. Quitting is not an option."
I want you to look right in that camera and tell somebody, speak to somebody who feels like quitting. What would you say to them?
I would say to you, you cannot quit because somebody's life is hanging in the balance. It could be your daughter, your son, your mother, your father, but most importantly, it's you. And what you have to say to yourself, I fall down, but I can get up. And so I encourage you to embrace the dysfunction right where you are and say to yourself, keep it moving, because I am a process of change.
Amen. Thank you for coming, and Come back next week for more of Elder Patrice Palmer.
Thank you.